Alright guys, welcome to the exterior course. So we're going to break down our pressure washer for the prepping process. We're going to start our generator up, get that bad boy plugged in. And now the pressure washers usually come with a couple different pieces. You got to connect the hoses, connect the wand, and just get everything ready to go. So right now we're connecting the wand blowgun. Just twist that on, it's 2-piece. Then I have the black hose, which is the output hose. This is where all the water goes into the pressure washer. So I'm going to hook that up into the wand. You do need to push it because it's a very airtight little suction gasket, so it takes a little bit of force to get in there. You can start twisting it on. You connect the other part right down there in the front of the pressure washer. Twist that bad boy on, and now your outtake hose is connected. Once you've done that, you will connect your intake hose. This is the hose that the water goes into, and it feeds the water into the pressure washer. So the other side of this hose is actually hooked up to a 35-gallon water tank, or any size water tank. So we'll go ahead and connect that, turn the valve on so the water starts to flow. Now that that's on, we can start with the exterior prep process. So this is going to consist of degreasing down the tires. You always want to start with your tires first. So you spray your degreaser on, then you're going to get a good little foam bath. Sometimes it takes a second to get the air out of your foam, your pressure washer. Then we're going to brush that bad boy down. I like to get in those little nooks and grooves. It's a lot easier to blow off when you've loosened it up with the brush. Get in those wheel wells. Then we're going to switch connectors, put a yellow connector on that bad boy, and blow that bad boy off. Now that I've rinsed the entire tire, I'm going to move on to the next steps. Okay, and now that we have finished the tires wash, we're going to wash the exterior paint, windows, and whatnot. So you want to start with degreasing your front grille. You're going to have a lot of bugs here on the windshield and on the side view mirrors. You want to pay close attention to get those off during the wash process. So we're going to foam cannon down the entire vehicle. You can see I'm taking a tire brush to that windshield. It gives me a little bit more leverage when I'm reaching towards the middle. You can also do this with a regular towel. So I'll also use the tire brush on the front grille to get into those nooks and crannies, brushing off a lot of the big bug chunks. You still might have bug residues. You're going to have to come back over that with a towel and likely a clay bar to get the rest of that off. So now that I've finished using the brush, I am moving over to the towel. I'm working fast before the soap dries up into the paint. So you're going to work this in sections. Put your soap on, maybe work 1 or 2 sections, and then rinse it all down. So now that I've worked this front section, I always go front to back, top to bottom. Once you finish that section, you can go ahead and rinse it all down. Now this is just the first prep process. When you're doing a full exterior, you are always going to use a clay bar. Some vehicles, for example, like a brand new vehicle, might not need a clay bar, but in most situations, you'll use the clay bar. So while the vehicle paint is still wet, I'll take the clay bar and gently go across the surface of the paint. About 2 swipes in every area and you're good to go. Clay bars are going to help get those bugs off the paint. So you can see I might pay a little more attention to some of those front areas where there's additional bugs. Going over your entire car with a clay bar is going to actually make it a lot easier. If it does dry up, you can do what I just did. Hit it with the pressure washer. Get it wet again, because lubrication is probably the most important thing. You can see I'm using the clay bar on those windows just to get any additional bugs off. And then once you've got that all done, you're going to rinse that down to get any of the impurities off, because the clay bar is going to loosen it and knock it around, but you're going to need a good rinse off to get that off of the paint. And now I'm using a spray wax. So spray wax is used as a rinse aid when you are trying to dry your paint so it doesn't leave those really heavy watermarks, which make it almost impossible to buff. So you can see here I'm using a chamois after I've applied the rinse aid. The chamois kind of dry up and are a little bit starchy, so you just get them wet, you twist them up, wring them out, and then they usually get their shape. Couple big swipes and most of that hood's cleaned. Get under that windshield. Getting most of that water up is really important in this process. It's also extremely important that you do the foam bath and the clay bar before you hit it with the chamois, because you can get your chamois dirty, and if it carries dirt, you risk scratching the paint. So the chamois dry is always going to be the last thing that we do for the exterior paint before we actually get into the polishing process. So as far as the tires go, you are going to use the same Carnauba wax as a rinse aid just to make sure you don't get any hard watermarks. Then go across it with a tire dressing. This is just going to help seal the tires and give them a nice shiny look. After that, you want to rinse off your rims. If you get off all that big water and dust and kind of wipe some of that wax in, it'll dry and give a nice gloss look. If there's still fogginess, you can always use a microfiber towel to fix that at the end. Okay, so getting into the buffing process. This is your compound polish. So compound polish is used to level out and reduce any of the fine line scratches on the vehicle paint. This could just be from car washes, from the clay bar, from pretty much anything that might have scratched the paint. You're going to use compound. So we're just going to dab a few squares. We're going to work in sections. So I'm going to work splitting the vehicle up into 4 pieces. I have the first quarter section, then I'm going to move into the middle quarter section. Now the method that I'm using is cross hatching. So that is when you go one direction and then you go the other direction over the same panel. This is going to make sure that you're leveling out all of that paint. So after you've gone over with the compound, you are going to get into the regular polishing phase. Now, with a black car, you would use that dark black beauty polish and a black pad. With white cars, you use a gold pack polish. This is a specific polish for white cars, and you're going to use a specific pad for that white car as well. So you want to remove all of your compound polish before you apply your gold pack polish to the white vehicle. Gold pack is also going to be used on any light colored vehicles. So if it's like a lime green, light blue, any kind of light color is going to get this gold pack polish. So we'll apply it and we're going to work in quarter sections just like we did with the compound. Make sure you're cross hatching, going both directions with the buffer. Then you're going to remove all of that polish. Now with the white vehicle, you can use a sealant. We usually do an F11 sealant. There's 2 ways you can apply the F11 sealant. You can apply it with a buffer pad, which I'm going to show you right here. You just kind of mist it right on. And then you go over the vehicle relatively fast. You don't have to spend too much time on it because you're going to wax it in the rest of the way by hand. Now this is only a method I would use with white and light colored vehicles. If you were to use the buffer on a black colored vehicle to seal it, it would probably leave hazes and it would be almost impossible to remove by hand. Not impossible, but really tough. So the other way is to apply it straight onto your microfiber towel, 1 spritz, and then apply it on one side, flip the towel, dry it off. And this can be used for white vehicles. This can be used for dark colored vehicles. It's kind of the best method as far as getting the job done without giving yourself extra work. So we'll seal the entire vehicle, get around those nooks and cracks. Now you're going to seal the entire vehicle. The places that we don't really use the F11 on are going to be the windows, and that's about it. Some of the trims, not really either. Those get a special type of exterior dressing, but any vehicle paint is likely going to be getting the F11. So here you can see I am finishing off by doing the windows. And then once you finish your windows, you're going to go over your door jambs just to get any polish out of them. And then you're going to go through the vehicle, check it all out, move all of your stuff off, and do those final checkovers. That's the exterior detail.